Hello, StarCraft fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with our very first edition of One Trick Wednesday. This is going to be a game between Ella Sarbre and Rebel on Cactus Valley, the latter edition. Since this is our very first edition of this particular kind of cast, basically I gave you guys a challenge a couple of weeks ago now to use only Vikings in your 1v1 matchup. And several people sent in replays. I sent them to my screeners. They chose the very, very best ones, and these are the ones that made the cut. All right. So in the bottom right side of Cactus Valley, we have the Terran player making only Vikings, Rebel. And in the bottom left side of the map, having no idea what is going on today, it is the Red Protoss player, Ella Sarbre. I don't know what that means. That sounds very Spanish to me, but again, I do not speak Spanish, though sometimes I'll reply to your comments in Spanish or Portuguese or whatever in the comments on my channel. That's because I know how to use Google Translate. That is all that is. Please do not think I am some multilingual genius. You may hear a little bit of sniffing in the background, and I might get a little congested here because I am still sick. I don't know what is going on. I really don't. I've had this like low-level congestion, coughing stuff going on for what feels like 3 weeks now. It's probably only been like 10 days, but every morning I wake up gross. And by the end of the day, I'm feeling okay, but then in the morning again, it comes back. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe I have some kind of crazy illness in my house that I need to take care of. Regardless, here we are, double gassing it, recognizing Vikings are pretty gas heavy, and to rush to them, you need to get a factory as well. So very quick on that gas. Barracks is going to get a reactor on it. I assume that's going to be able to swap onto the starport to double pump these Vikings. And a quick wall off. Generally, this is something you don't necessarily need to do against Protoss. I guess if they are going adept opening, it is a very safe thing to do. But walling off in this situation is especially good because you're not making Marines, you are not making Reapers, you are not making Marauders, you are making Vikings, Mr. Rebel. Or perhaps Mrs. Rebel. As, who is that? Who am I thinking? Isn't, Arrested Development, Season 4. There is a character named Rebel, and my brain is spacing on what her last name is. But regardless, yep, Rebel could be a girl's name as well. Alright, so factory, it's about done. Rebel has got to be feeling the pressure here, feeling the time ticking by, recognizing there will be an attack coming from Protoss at some point here. Ella Sarbre will not sit here doing nothing for very long. He has 3-gate opening with a Cyber Core. We haven't seen this build in a while. A 1-base, 3-gate. That's going to be Adept, right? I assume it's going to be like a 3-gateway Adept thing here. Getting a Forge as well. And there's our first starport. First starport is here. You know, the barracks could build another reactor, except for the problem that it would need to lift off to do so, and that leaves this front door wide open. So maybe walling off with another supply depot and allowing this thing to make yet another reactor. Although the factory is making a reactor, so maybe we can keep up. Maybe we can keep up here. There's the great timing on the swap for Rebel. Maybe tossing down yet another reactor, and our first Vikings are going to come here around 3 minutes. So that's pretty good. That is pretty good stuff here. 3 minutes and 20-something seconds. Are you supply, but not supply blocked? Okay, good. Has enough money to make a couple of them. Is instead working on what exactly? Dude, it's Vikings only. You gotta make Vikings. Let's do this, Rebel. First Adept has shown up, trying to get through this wall. One Adept by herself, very difficult. Very difficult to make this thing happen, just because they don't do very well against non-light units. 10 damage per shot, and their shot speed isn't very fast without the Resonating Glaives upgrade. So SCVs are here to repair, as necessary. The Vikings are being constructed right about now. We have a barracks scout and just trying to see what is coming up. And the answer is it's a 1-base attack from Ella Sarbre, which has pretty bad news. Pretty bad news for Rebel here. All right, so the Vikings have popped. And they're landing, and they really have no choice but to use their guns against the Adepts. They don't do extra damage versus Adepts, as they are not mechanical, but still, killing one and chasing the other one away is not a bad opening, not a bad starter at all. The range on this is actually pretty good as well. Range of 6, Adepts have a range of 4, so they outrange the Adepts. All right, this is working out here. Our landed Vikings are here to save the day. More Vikings on the way from the starport. More and more starports. We're just 1 base in it. Is Rebel. Feels like maybe can't do this for too long. Maybe there's, again, kind of a countdown timer to when there's going to be immortals and things and stuff that isn't going to be as easy to kill for these Vikings, but keeping it up, keeping consistent production going. And by consistent, I mean not right now. But moving out with some Vikings. Perhaps going to try to expand here after all. I am very interested to see if that's going to happen here or not. Come on, Rebel. You can do this thing. Starport. He's got 1, 2, 3, and 4 starports here. One of them just now finishing and tossing down reactors on all of them for the most part. There we go. Now in production, 4 Vikings lifting, walking. You know, for transportation, you don't necessarily have to walk. You can definitely fly for that kind of a thing. So moving on out here. Does he not know where the Protoss player is? He might now, as this barracks is scouting the stalkers and the adepts that are coming. Dude, Viking, you need to come back. Come back for defense. There we go. They've decided it is time to come back for defense. More and more Vikings into production here as well. And a robotics facility on the way for El Sabre. Barracks scouts everything out inside this Protoss base. El Sabre brings the whole army back to kill this barracks, which just gives Rebel more time as pieces go flying off and into Norsville there. Viking count is currently at 8. Got ground armor level 1. We got Blink coming in here as well. Vikings flying in. And are they going to go for some mineral line harass? There's a cannon. There are 2 cannons. All right, so the Viking lands. No robotics bay for you. Oh, killing the probe that was going to try to do that thing. Walking right on in. And look at these probes die as they are mechanical. The cannon does take down one of the Vikings, but Photon Overcharge used here as well to try to smash these things down. Moving one of the Vikings at a range with 5 total hit points remaining. And the Stalkers show up. Time to go. Time to go. Is everyone's going to die here. All the Vikings are dead, but they did kill a whole ton of probes. 12 probes killed. It is now 14 to 22 total harvesters. Rebel continuing to make these things. Is he working on upgrades at all? No. Nope, going for completely unupgraded Vikings, which, you know what, I think is going to be okay. I'm not super concerned about this particular strategy. So what do we got? Vikings, and more Vikings. Again, extra damage versus mechanical. Which probes are? Which stalkers are? Stalkers are as well. So ground-to-ground fight might actually be pretty good. Although Vikings are armored and stalkers do extra damage versus armored here as well. So moving out. We've got our stalkers, we've got our adepts trying to finish off our Terran friend here. Rebel has stopped making Vikings. Why? You have supply available, you have enough resources available, you have buildings available. Oh, trying to sneaky expand up here in the top right. Well, middle right side of the map here is Rebel. So here come our stalkers. They are moving across the map. We've got an armory. They are here. They're taking a lot of damage though from these Vikings. Look at that, 1, 2, and almost 3 down immediately on that stalker count. Vikings looking good against these stalkers. Stalkers are not what you want. Not what you want in this situation. I'm going to have to say probably, I don't know, immortals are mechanical too, though. I'm going to say immortal. Colossus are bad. Disruptor, maybe. Zealots with charge might be pretty good in this situation. Not taking that extra damage from these dudes. All right, what do we got? 13 Vikings, another one in production here as well, getting +1 air weapons as El Sabre. For what exactly? I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. Trying to make an SCV transfer up to that base, but walking right past these stalkers. Pull back, run, 2 SCVs die. The other 3 managed to get up here, and from the high ground Vikings defending. Who knew? Who knew? I did not know. All right, so that basically tells El Sabre that there's a base up here somewhere that the Terran player was trying to send his workers to, and just makes a beeline pretty much directly for secret base that Rebel wanted to keep secret so bad. But nope! Stalkers have arrived. There we go. Walked past it for a second and then realized what they were seeing. And Rebel, you know what, Rebel? You're not going to be able to expand, man. Not at this rate. Not at this rate at all. 59 to 55 total supply. El Sabre has the lead, and I don't know what the plan is here to do with these Vikings is the problem. Kind of stopped making units at this point. Viking count getting pumped out 2 at a time. Might have made too many starports if he can't afford to use, 4 of them off of one base. And he does have that armory. Where is our armory? Here it is. No upgrades coming on these dudes as well. But here we go. Time to move out. Vikings pushing out. Possibly trying to set up an expansion. They just seem a little unsure of themselves is the problem here. All right. Okay, so they're moving out. This isn't a defensive maneuver. This is a walk across the map and try to kill your opponent maneuver before things get too out of control here. Ellis Sarbre is spending his money pretty well and actually making an observer, getting +2 ground weapons. That might be pretty useful as well. And taking a third base here at 10 minutes. All right. Vikings, however, say we don't care. We don't care about your third base whatsoever. We're going to lift off. Do our own little drop action here. Try to fly inside your main base. Stalkers do not see this coming as they warp in and immediately. They do see it now, though. Ooh, taking out. No. Take out the mothership core. That is a great thing to do. Get the mothership core first of all because the photon overcharge is going to be a big problem for you. Double photon overcharge coming up here. Viking really wants to pick her down, and mothership core does end up getting killed. All right, Vikings, fight for Terran here. Can you do this thing? Stalkers getting massacred. They die so quickly in this situation. More and more pylons getting destroyed, canceling warp-ins here. It is now 70 to 53 harvesters. Ellis Sabri has the lead, but a lot of these are Stalkers. And Stalkers, look at how quickly they die. Nice concave here from Rebel. The Adepts can't do anything. They are stuck behind the Stalkers. Not the greatest micro in all time. However, the Adepts are not surviving very well themselves either. Maybe a little bit longer, but not doing the damage they need to against these. And suddenly it's 51 to 37 supply. There's the good game out of Ellis Sarbre, and Rebel tosses out the good game as well. Look at that. Vikings making it happen, mostly against Stalkers, I would have to say here. How many Stalkers died? 19 Stalkers killed in that game. Resources lost, about 5,500 for the Protoss, and only about 4,300 for our Terran player. So fantastic job making that thing work. End up losing 15 Vikings of his own with no upgrades. And again, not the crispest. Is that the word crispest? Most crisp? Not the most crisp build order or use of his facilities, but in the end, got it done. I assume this is fairly low-level replay, but we have some higher ones coming. So stick with me, and we'll be right back with game number 2 in just a second. Welcome back to One Trick Wednesday. I will be your host, Falcon Paladin, and game number 2 is going to be between Valma and Krek here on Paladino Terminal, the Ladder Edition. Valma tossing out the Happy Monday. Yes, this is patterned after Day 9's Fun Day Mondays, which he hasn't done for a long time now, but that was definitely the inspiration. And unfortunately, I got to start saying Happy Wednesday, just because that's when I'm going to post these things. I figure that it makes sense, right? We'll do a cheese compilation one week, a One Trick Wednesday the next week, and then kind of alternate back and forth that way, with Sundays being either series or just epic casts that I'm going to save for Sunday nights. Alright, enough of that. In the bottom right side of Paladino Terminal, the Ladder Edition, we have the red Zerg player. It is Krek. He has no idea what is coming his way. And our red Terran player in the top left is Valma from Kurzrio. What on earth? That is really washed out. Is that intentionally washed out spinny logo thing? It looks like a negative, like a film negative. From back when there was actually film and it wasn't all digital. I don't know what Valma is up to here. Regardless, Valma is doing this against a Zerg player, which when I put this challenge out, right, I didn't think to myself, it's going to be easy against Zerg. No, I thought Protoss, sure, Terran, probably. Against Zerg, I just don't know how we're going to make this thing happen with the mass of Viking. All right, Valma, what do you got? Walling off, obviously walling off here for Valma. Earlylings will wreck ya, even if you're not trying to go mass Viking, so definitely don't skip that part of your strategy. Now, the trick here is getting factory up quickly and getting starport out very, very fast indeed. Krek tosses out a 1? I don't know what that's all about. Did he go? He went hatch first. All right, so he went hatch first. He's hatching first over here, which is a little bit far away from where his natural normally is. I'm not sure entirely why he's doing that, but we'll have to see. 1 second, please. Says Krek. Is he going to toss down a pause? We're going to see a quick pause thing here. Yeah, they're talking about Day 9 channels. There's no Fun Day Monday over there. Oh, Valma. Oh, Valma. Thanks for getting the name out there, Valma. Much appreciated. What the? Appreciata. What is that language? I don't know what this is. This feels Eastern European to me. There's the starport. Okay, first starport. Tossing on out. Does Krek? No. Why are you freaking out? With your... What is happening? No. Get back to work, Krek. What was that? I was like, that was the worst Maynard transfer I've ever seen. Like, he was trying to send some workers over to this natural base, which again is kind of far away. And generally is fine, but for whatever reason, everybody came off the mineral line and kind of did a weird dance there. Anyway, Valma is getting his second refinery now. He is tossing down his starport. He is making a reactor off of his factory. Didn't do that with his barracks, so I think in game number 1, maybe there was a better idea of how to get reactors early. But the timing worked out anyway here for Valma. Is definitely going after the armory for the upgrades. Feels like he will be needing those. The extra damage versus mechanical that they do does not help them at all against Zerg. Nothing Zerg is mechanical. It is all biological. Third base now coming up in the natural base location for Krek. Krek has, like, pretty much nothing. He's got 2 queens. End of discussion. And double extractor here. So, I mean, he's droning up fairly well. I'm pretty happy about that. Has his injects going nicely at the same time. Is this double arm? No, engineering bay. Engineering bay, maybe for planetary fortress. Okay, so he does want to expand here, but he wants to keep it. So he's going to planetary fortress that thing, which is fine. PFs were allowed. You could build buildings, you could build missile turrets, you could build stuff like that to defend cannons. We couldn't build cannons because you're not Protoss, but you get the idea. Buildings are fine, SCVs are fine, but only attacking units that can move that are allowed is the majestic Viking. First Viking on the way. Did not actually swap this over this time. Did not swap the reactor on over here. So, vehicle weapons level 1 being researched. I'm pretty sure that doesn't help Vikings. Vikings are considered flying units even if they land. So let's take a look real quick here. So, yeah, I mean, it says target's air, so we'll say target ground here, but it's not a vehicle, it's air. So what you want here is the ship weapons level 1. Upgrades the damage dealt by units built at a starport. That's the idea. That is the idea here, but that's okay. This is what this is all about. This is about learning. This is about seeing what's viable in StarCraft 2 and what's weird and strange and funny stuff you can do. Second armory coming up here as well. Definitely wants those upgrades. Krek has some slowlings out. He is not getting speed. He's getting a Spire and a Hydralisk Den and Baneling speed. Of all things right now, I'm pretty sure this is off-center a little bit. Valma, is it? A little bit, possibly a little bit here. Faster Lord comes in, sees the Viking, sees double starport. All right, that's some pretty good information for you there, Valma. Make note, double starport tells you you're going to see a lot of sky stuff. So I like the Spire and I like the Hydralisk Den out of Krek here. This might not go super well for Valma, but he's trying. He is valiantly trying anyway here, getting a reactor on his second starport now. Again, the factory has a reactor that nothing really swapped on over for, so I'm not sure what that's all about. Defending with command centers upgraded to planetary fortresses at these chokes, as there are 2 chokes coming into your natural base, as Terrant was anybody on this map. So he's going to try to defend both of them with his planetary fortress. Now, here's the thing. Krek is used to Terran players that are aggressive. Krek is worried about drops. He's worried about 5-minute drops or so, which is why I'm making these Banelings and getting speed, but I don't see any sign of Alma moving out anytime soon here. Unfortunately for him, getting vehicle weapons level 2. See, it doesn't help. Dink, nothing ticked up here with that +1. That's okay. Again, live and learn. Live and learn. Are the Vikings moving out? Vikings are moving out. They are hunting for overlords. They might try to do some drops and kill some drones. Not doing extra damage versus drones, mind you, but still, drones don't have a lot of HP. So it doesn't really matter all that much. Lurker Den coming in here, and yes, going after overlords to try to supply block your Zerg opponent. I like this plan. I like it very much indeed. All right, Overlord dead. Overlord dead. Get the other Overlord. No, this Queen is not enough to chase you away. Finish off the one that is injured. Come on. Get around to the backside. Try to find it. Well, he's trying to kill another one now. That's totally fine. Moving the wounded Viking back, and then finishing. Oh, landing the Vikings to fight against this Queen and these Zerglings. Come on. More Vikings do this thing. Oh, the Lings are so good against these Vikings, though. Banelings exploding as well. Queen almost dead. 2 hit points. Almost got her. Vikings flying past 4 crawlers. No, losing one. A little bit unnecessarily there, but can kill another Viking or another Overlord if you want. So if nothing else, keeping your opponent supply blocked is going to be a pretty good strategy here. And again, the upgrade's not assisting very much there. So more Vikings flying on in. And made a bunch of Overlords, did Krek, so he's not going to be super supply blocked here for much longer. He seems to have the reaction time required to deal with this, again, as annoying as it is. Queen here doing that anti-air damage. Vikings landing. 3 Vikings versus the Queen, but a lot of Lings and Banes too. Lift, run. Lift, run. There you go. Velma escaping with his life. More Vikings flying on it. He's making 4 at a time right now. It's 34 to 45 Harvesters. Is that going to be a PF at any point? Nope. Command Center not being used for that. Double-pronged harass with the Vikings. A group flying into this natural base where there are so many spores, but landing. Haha! Spores, you can do nothing now. Queen gets finished off here at this natural base of Vikings flying on into the main base as well here. Yes, there's a Queen, but is that going to be enough? I do not know. Look out, Vikings! Everybody coming to deal with the Vikings at the natural. But the Vikings in the main are still alive. They are still alive. 1 Viking trying to take down this Queen. A lot of dead drones. A lot of dead drones. 9 dead drones so far. Queen gets picked off here as well. Looks like trying to focus down the Spire. Can't quite get it though before the Lings in the main show up, as they are pretty fast. More Vikings coming in. Consistent harassment with the Vikings. That's what you have to do. You can't let the Zerg player just sit back and macro up and get a huge army of stuff that you can't handle very well if you're going only Viking. As it turns out, vehicle weapons level 3. Oh, Valma. Actually, we need to double check this. We need to double check. When he lands the Vikings, does that increase the damage done? I'm gonna bet no. I'm gonna bet no, but we're gonna take a look here anyway. Vikings have landed, and no upgrades whatsoever. But man, is every drone here in the main base going to die? Well, the Spire's dead, that's for sure. That's not good. Broodlings taking some attacks there as well. So many dead drones. Lings, too many Lings, too many Zerglings. Do they have upgrades right now? They do not. There are 3 evolution chambers, but that is about it. So now Valma is scratching his head here. What do I do? Honestly, Hydralisks, dude. Make Hydralisks. Really good against the Vikings in the sky and on the ground. But I guess, I mean, Lings are keeping the Vikings from just killing you straight out to this point. Another dead Queen. For correct, this time at the 3rd base. That's 4 dead Queens. He has no Queens remaining. He's making 2, but he doesn't have any. Kind of bouncing back and forth and back and forth. Trying to land in this main base again. Spore crawlers getting killed. Lings, Baneling explosions. Oh, so many dead Vikings. More Vikings here at the 3rd base as well, trying to hold it against, nope, Lings and Banes. It's pretty effective, I'd say. Resources lost here, about 3,900 for the Terran, and like 4,000 for the Zerg. It's cost efficient is what this is. Lings and Banelings are exploding on Vikings that are fairly cheap. I mean, they're 75 gas, so they're not incredibly so, but still, not too horrendous here. Is that... Oh, okay, that Viking is like inside that asteroid. That's kind of a graphical glitch. I was like, why is that brown? Oh, right, because of that. Planetary Fortress is up here at the natural base, making another command center for another planetary fortress here. Is Krek... I don't know, is Krek going to be able to rebuild his Spire? He just seems to be panicking and building Banelings, which again, can't say I've never done that. Is how I'm going to explain this thing. Fly back in the main. The main's pretty well undefended. There's a Queen here, but that's about it. Yep, there we go. Landing. Trying to focus down this Queen. So many Banelings rolling in, though. Can they get the Queen before the Banelings show up? The answer is yes, but everybody dies. As a result, that is so many exploded Banelings, though. Yeah. It's like 6 or 7 Banelings for a single Viking at this point. High-sec auto-tracking being researched for Valma as well. Really worried about the Zerg player attacking here. Is he just trying to bait Baneling explosions out? I think he is. He's landing individual Vikings to try to bait like 4 Banelings to hit a Viking. It's just cost efficient is what it is. It's smart. It's smart play. It's the same. Well, don't fly over spore crawlers. That will kill your Vikings really fast. This is the same reason that good like pro Terran players will unload a single Marine onto a group of Banelings, because they will all explode on that one Marine, and that is totally fine with the Terran player. That is a trade they will make every day of the week. Vikings landing in the main base once again, going after this extractor. And there we go. Lift off, Vikings. No! Oh, Vikings dead again. Another group of Vikings here at the 3rd base. The spore crawlers are something of a problem here, but man, it turns out when you can land an attack, spores are not very good whatsoever. More dead drones. 24 dead drones killed so far. He keeps trying to handle these Banelings. Oh, there's the lift, but the lift into the Spore Crawler this time, and 2 of the Vikings die. 2 managed to make it inside the main base. At some point, Crack, what I would recommend is leaving some Banelings here and some Banelings here instead of sending your whole army back and forth across the map here. That seems like a solid life choice. All right, we're gonna speed things up just a little bit. This game is getting a teeny bit long. As we have seen this before, Vikings hit, Vikings die, Banelings explode. Viking lands, tries to kill some stuff, and gets murdered. Another group of Vikings moving on out now. It is 3 base to 3 base, 34 to 24 total harvesters. Krek is down. Trying to resaturate, desperately trying to get that drone count back up. He is very mineral starved, though. This harassment has actually been pretty darn effective, I would say, from the Valma. More Vikings, more Vikings. Spine crawl, spines and spores now for Krek. The problem is you're letting the Terran player expand to a 3rd base now. I don't think he's even... Yeah, the Zerg player hasn't scouted even the tiniest bit in the... Okay, it has scouted the main base, but hasn't scouted the natural or that 3rd base location. And in fairness, he's been harassed pretty much this entire time. It was hard to make that happen. All right, what do we... 4th base? 4th base now for Krek. This is faster than I thought it would be this times 2. Regardless, Viking count starting to get up there. Is he getting ship weapons? He's getting ship weapons. Hooray! Hooray, ship weapons. Overlord tries to come in here, gets murdered by the Vikings. The Viking count is 18. 18 Vikings and 38 SCVs, and that is it. This is the spirit. This is the spirit of the One Trick Wednesday from Falcon Paladin. More and more drones in production here. Taking a lead is correct. 43 to 38 harvesters, but still stuck on this Ling Baneling thing. I just don't know. 4th base going to get landed on and going to try to be taken down. Look at that DPS go, and the Lings and Banes, can they get it? Oh, they save it. They just barely save it here. Again, landing individual Vikings, so the Banelings will clear themselves out. And then landing everybody to finish everything else off. Beautiful play. Beautiful play there. The 4th base explodes. It's 82 to 80 harvesters. 11 hydras in production. Thank goodness. But that's all Krek has. Oh, no. He should have done this a long time ago. But can he hold on with 11 hydralisks, with spines, with spores? Walking in with +3 armor on these dudes. Again, the armor not bad. Queens and hydras trying to make a nice concave, but there are just too few of them. So many Vikings on the ground, just massacring every Hydralisk that comes on out now. It is looking very bad for our Zerg player. The spines getting directly attacked. Spore Crawlers taking down flying Vikings, landed Vikings dealing with everything else, though. Again, another Hydra coming down the ramp. This 3rd base is not long for the world for Krek. Hatchery going to die, and that's it. Krek with a rage quit. Taps out. Valma is victorious. All right, so it works. It works against Zerg. Again, assuming the Zerg player maybe doesn't go for Hydras until 17 minutes into the game, but still, nonetheless, it worked. Okay, we'll be back with game number 3 in just a second. Welcome to game 3 of One Trick Wednesday from Falcon Paladin. This is a game between David and Excedo on Paladino Terminal, the Ladder Edition. In the bottom right side of the map, we have the red Protoss player. It is Excedo, with a little Zergling spinning logo there. And in the top left side of the map, we have the red. Nope, this is blue Terran player. It is David. Why does my brain do that? Man, sometimes it sees this and says, that is an entirely different color. I swear I'm not colorblind. Probably. With a little spinning logo of a mole holding a shovel while we're running. Megolek Geki, I suppose? Anyway, it's David. David is the one who's going to be going Mass Viking here against the Protoss player. This is a diamond level replay. So this one a little bit higher than the first two we saw, trying to save the best for later. Basic concept, and then we'll see how the higher level players can execute this. We do in fact have a scouting probe here that tells me it's a higher level. Sees the double refinery. That's a good tell. That is a good tell that says that something is coming that is either Mech-y or Banshee-y or something along those lines. So Excedo getting on out, trying to see if there's an expansion he can possibly block, possibly annoy. Is David trying to expand? No. He doesn't have enough minerals for that yet. See, he pulled a bunch of his SCVs off to basically almost fully saturate his refineries here. 3 out of 3 and 3 out of 3. There you go. There ya go. Protoss player is working on a cybernetics core, sitting off this one base, SCV scouting as well, and getting a second assimilator. So not going for the one gateway expand, which I'm very interested in. as to why that is not the case here. But we'll see. We'll see what is planned for our Protoss player to deal with this, because I feel like at this point there's really nothing that can kill this probe. There are going to be no Marines. There are going to be no Reapers. So this probe can kind of dance around forever, tossing down a pylon to try to block an expansion that David is not planning on doing, and then just getting out. Is he just getting out of here? Is he looking to see maybe he missed an expansion somewhere else? And the answer is no. There's not another command center anywhere here. SCV also trying to block an expansion attempt by Exido, and just heading on out of there. All right, factory just about complete. Is the barracks being used for a reactor? Nope, haven't seen that since game 1. Not entirely sure why we haven't seen it, but that's just fine by me. Perhaps they're trying to figure this stuff out. Stargate coming in from Exido. Oh man, an Oracle. You got to get that starport down fast. An Oracle is going to wreck your day, unless you could toss down a missile turret real fast as well, which is a possibility. Could get an engineering bay down very quickly, but instead is going for that starport, and there's the double starport action there. Reactor on the factory, not a reactor on the barracks. Not planning on swapping that one over. Adept in production by Exido as well. Oh, and real quick, I do want to give credit to the name One Trick Wednesday. It came from Avoni Majertha, who is somebody who subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much for that suggestion. I like it. I like it a lot, especially since we're going on the Wednesdays, and it just kind of flows. One Trick Wednesday. Boom. It is an Oracle. Holy schmoly. All right, Oracle coming on out from Exido, but are we starting Viking production? Come on now, start now, David. There it is. Oh, all right, double pumping a Viking here. Should be ready to go by the time this Oracle shows up. Not quite even done yet, and they are fast, but this is a large enough map that I think... Oh, man, here we go. We're going to follow this Oracle across the map. Not using Oracle names because it's compilation. Trying to save those for the regular casts. All right, so Oracle... Viking, yeah, the Vikings will be done, especially with a zigzag pattern that the Oracle is taking here. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Does not see an expansion here or an expansion there either. What is going on? What is this one base Terran player up to? Says Exido, flying right in this mineral line. Free SCVs. I'll take those. Thank you for asking. Delicious and delicious SCVs. Oh, the Vikings were out. They just ran away. What on earth? 4 kills, but Viking shots hit pretty hard. Another one. Great control on this Oracle. Can he find another SCV to kill? There's nothing in the natural base. Sadly enough, angles allow the Vikings to take down the Oracle. Barracks scouting on in here, so this does tell Exido some kind of mech strategy. What Terran player doesn't need a barracks? And the answer is one that's going mass Viking. Thank you very much. Phoenix in production from Exido. All right. Interesting answer. Interesting answer. I suppose 3 Vikings moving on out at 4.5 minutes here. An expansion command center is coming up and still continuing to make Vikings as much as he can afford to do so. It's more mineral starvation right now than anything else. Vikings coming in. What can they take down here? They can... Oh, but the problem is if they land, then the Oracle can burn them down with Pulsar Beam. Harassing. Harassing here, trying to take these probes down again. 20 damage versus Mechanical. And Oracle getting some Pulsar Beam shots off, man. The replacement Oracle doing a great job. Vikings do not care. They are killing probes. Absolutely, like there's no tomorrow. Lifting. Oh, lifting the walking Viking here. That's interesting. And does end up getting it, but 13 probes killed. 13. Exido is down to 14 probes. That is actually not a bad opener. It's really not. I mean, even if you're not going mass Viking, perhaps a 3 Viking land in a mineral line against your Protoss opponent would be worth it. I mean, entirely possible, right? It's fairly even on resources lost, about 925 compared to 1,050 lost for Exido, but 13 probes. 13 probes is a lot of dead probes, especially this early in the game. Idle worker, Exido. 3 Vikings done such damage. Yeah. Yes, Exido, that is correct. This is why we do this, to learn these little bits of information that can help us in our latter games. Does have a missile turret up at his main base. David says Sunday, Monday. We're going to call it One Trick Wednesday from now on, but we get the idea. Oh, Vikings could have taken down that Oracle, but they weren't on attack move. Run, Oracle, run for your life. Another Viking trying to get some micro off, some stutter step action. Oh, be so careful. One more shot. Oh, Oracles, this is not the game for you. Why are you making another Oracle? Exido, no, Oracles are not what you need right now. It's 43 to 34 harvesters. David doing really super well. at this point in time. You know what? Honestly, land it. Let's do this thing. Let's fight. Stalkers are no good here. Phoenix, no good either. Vikings, oh, you could take down the mothership. You need to take down that mothership core because Photon Overcharge is going to cause you problems. I'd maybe lift 3 of the Vikings, snipe down the mothership core, and let the rest of them handle the rest of the stuff. There's really not a lot here for Excedo. Again, Adept's not very good. Stalker's really terrible in this situation. Why are you worried about the Phoenix? Don't worry about the Phoenix. The Stutter Step Micro here, pretty darn good here. Photon Overcharge, there's the Photon. That's what you're worried about, is the Photon Overcharge here. Pretty good micro on display by both of these players. Get it. Get Mothership Core. Pretty good job keeping it inside the radius of that Photon Overcharge. It's up. It is up. Get it. Get Mothership Core. I know you're worried about the Phoenix right now. Oh, landing. Landing again here is David. He's got more Vikings on the way. They're going to join the party. They're going to join the party fairly soon here. Another Photon Overcharge comes up. But this main base, I mean, it's really struggling to mine right now. There are 7 probes on minerals right now for Excedo. Tossing down a mule for the repairs? Ah, that's excellent, excellent job. I always love it when I see that. I really do. So trying to heal up the one that had 6 hit points here. Just not that super great. Again, come in close here, Phoenix. Come in close. So much energy on the Mothership Core. Another Photon Overcharge is available. Baits them in. But Mothership Core does get killed. Trading a Viking for that one. And another Viking possibly. Yes. Getting one in the process of landing there. Lifting the Vikings. Going for it. Going for it to the Vikings. You lift us all you want, they say. We're going to kill every single one of your probes here inside the main base. Down to 14 probes. Down to 12 probes. The Vikings, not a bad answer here in all actuality. If you want to keep your stuff alive, more Vikings coming in say, get away. Get away from our friend. Oh, losing a Viking in the process, though. But still, enough. Enough. Oh, Excedo with the PM. Oh, no, Excedo. It always makes me laugh when people make fun. Like, they try to say that you did a stupid strategy, and then they lose. It's just like, why? How does that work? Exactly, and that's it. Excedo with the Rage Quit and David victorious here, 9 minutes in. Yew. That was good. That's how you do this thing. All right, so we'll come back with game number 4 in just a second. Welcome back to One Trick Wednesday. It's Falcon Paladin coming to you with a game between Brutal and the Wagon Door on Abyssal Reef, the Ladder Edition. In the top left side of the map, we have the Terran player who is red. It is Brutal. And in the bottom right side of the map, we have the blue Terran player, the Wagon Door. Ah, so who's the one? Who is our Vikinger today? That is the question. That is the question that is coming to everybody's minds. Everyone's minds indeed. Walling off in this area is the Wagon Door, where you can kind of protect the natural from both angles of attack that come. This, again, it's kind of a weird map. You got this curving angle of attack from the north, and then these rocks that cover most of the angle from the west here. But regardless, you can kind of wall this off in certain ways and make it happen. Brutal's getting no gas on the opening, but you know what? Neither is the Wagon Door, so... Brutal's tossing the refinery down now. Is the Wagon Door going a gasless opening in TVT? That seems real. Ooh, he's going command center first. The Wagon Door. Are you... I mean, if he's going Mass Viking, he is risking a lot here, because if you're doing this, you got to get some Marines out as fast as possible to try to deal with early harassment, but I don't know. All right, Brutal, what you got for us? What do you got for us today, Brutal? And the answer is... Again, there's the wall off. He has the double refinery. I think Brutal might be our Viking player. Barracks making absolutely nothing. Okay. Yeah, it looks very much like Brutal's going to be our Viking player here. So he's got the double refinery here. He's tossing down a factory as soon as terranly possible. And the Wagon Door, what on earth? The Wagon Door is throwing down double command center here. Maybe... Oh, never mind. Never mind. Okay, so Brutal was just late. He was just late on his Marine. Okay, so the Wagon Door is trying to defend himself. He's going Mass Viking with a command center first opening. This is insane. So he's going to try to defend with planetary fortresses, which doesn't help him a lot. Doesn't help him a whole ton with drops and stuff. But There's their double refinery. He still doesn't have a barracks yet. His Vikings are going to be late. All right, man. All right, best of luck to you. Maybe this is the best way to do this thing. The best way to defend against early Terran harassment, if you are Terran, is with planetary fortresses. There's his barracks. 2.5 minute barracks coming up now. Again, seems a little bit late. Little tiniest bit late, but that's a-okay. Double refinery, happily refining here. You could probably take those at the natural base as well. Not upgrading to a planetary fortress yet. Again, thank goodness there's not a Reaper. I feel like a Reaper would pretty much end this immediately for Wagendor, especially in the hands of a solid player, which these players are. Starport coming up, double Starport for a Brutal here. So are we both? I'm very confused by this. Why would Brutal go double Starport off of one base? I am so confused. So confused. Okay, so it's Banshee out of Brutal. Oh, no! Banshees are not good against Vikings at all. This might be Brutal just going, basically playing rock against Wagendor's paper here. Oh, like the one thing you don't want to do against Mass Viking is go Banshee at this point. However, the question is, will Vikings be out in time? We can get missile turrets up because that engineering bay is out. So that helps. I mean, if you're trying to survive early, this is pretty much what you want to do, is Planetary Fortress as best as you can. I guess one planetary fortress and then missile turrets as well. A Hellion trying to walk in here. Nope, that's a full wall with the planetary fortress. Have a nice day, Hellion. It was nice getting to know you, right? You seem like a fine fellow. But coming up here is just not going to work out. Boosh. Takes the shot and says, oh, what? Takes a second to process this. What? How? Why is there a planetary fortress here? The answer is because it's One Trick Wednesday, of course. Factory. Building a reactor and a double starport here. Okay, so we definitely have the double starport opening from Wagendor as well. He's probably the most macro-oriented opening that we've seen from Terrans that have tried this strategy thus far. So far, so good. I mean, really. Getting structure building armor here. High-sec auto-tracking wouldn't hurt either, especially considering the fact there are 3 Banshees moving out, and they will have cloaks soon. I mean, he's going to have scans because he's got double orbital command, which is nice. His starports are just now finishing at about 5 minutes. Is he going to make a Viking or try to go reactor Viking first? It looks like he's going to try to go... He's making one Viking at least make one Viking the Wagendor. These Banshees are close. He's making a Viking. All right, the problem is there's enough DPS to kill these things, even if they are detected. And I don't know. Banshee pilots flying on in, trying to see what they can do. Checking for a third base. They don't see one. Scanning before they move into the main. And this is looking really bad. Run! Great reaction time from the Wagendor, but run! Runs so hard. Immediately, double missile turret is being produced here by the Wagendor. 3 Vikings are here, though. Can they get them is the question. Focusing down the SCVs that are building the missile turrets, and there are scans available. There's the scan. 1 Viking of the 3 gets killed. There are 1 Banshee of the 3 gets killed. The Vikings are chasing them down. Is there another scan available here? I do not know. I don't know. So close. It is so close to being a scan available. There it is. There it is, and the Banshees very wisely retreating at this point. They are running for their lives. So, did lose some SCVs. Lost about 6 SCVs there, but still alive. Still alive is the Wagendor. Triple pumping these Vikings. 1 reactor starport, 1 unreactored starport. Not worrying about upgrades. Oh, now reactoring the starport now that the Banshee threat is gone here. Brutal is now working on Marines, working on Stim. What do you have here, Brutal? Got 7 Marines and a tank. 2 Hellions and 2 Banshees. So pretty good army. Pretty interesting, eclectic army there. Brutal coming back in with 1 of the Banshees. The other one is possibly for base defense at this point. I don't actually know. Vikings say, hey Banshee, what up? Thanks for stopping by. Oh, 4 Vikings show up. Take them all down. All right, so at this point, Brutal says, this is, I'm fairly sure this is going to be Mass Viking. And you would be correct. You would be correct, Brutal. Heading on up from bottom right to top left is the Wagendor. The music is intense. The music is suspenseful, as it well should be. Vikings Going to land here at the natural base. Again, extra damage versus SCVs as they are mechanical units here. And look at how quickly they die. Just out. Banshee shows up, and the Vikings say, oh, we'll deal with you. We'll deal with you in the air. The Marines are a problem. However, killing medevacs, useful play there. Probably want to be a priority. More Vikings landing in the main mineral base of Brutal. And goodbye, SCVs. Little SCV corpses flying into the sky as this is Abyssal Reef. And landing again, the multi-pronged harass from Wagendor. Kind of nuts right now. Taking down a supply depot as it is mechanical. What? That's amazing. Does supply block Brutal? No, does not supply block Brutal. Going for it is Brutal. He can't stop this. He's coming with all his SCVs and his tank and his Banshee. Oh, two tanks, and his Banshee Planetary Fortress. It's going to be up to you, man. The tank needs to take that thing out very, very fast. Indeed, the Vikings coming back to defend. Recognizing the SCVs got pulled. If he can handle this attack, if he can hold it, he will win. He will win this matchup. Tanks setting up on that Planetary Fortress. Nobody can go in until the PF is gone is the problem. It is a very slow going right now. Very slow going. Now the question is, all right, so the Wagendor, I think you pick off the medevac, and then you pick off the Banshee, and then you just land and go for it at this point. The tank is mechanical, which is fairly hilarious. Cloak Banshee here, SCVs here to repair this Planetary Fortress, recognizing this is all that is keeping them alive. All that is keeping them alive here. And going for it, coming from the left side. The tanks get picked off very quickly. Oh, now moving in. It is Brutal. The Planetary Fortress doing terrible splash damage. The Banshee is gone. The medevac is gone. The Marines trying to kill what they can, but PF up to 14 kills, up to 16 kills, and that is it. Brutal with a rage quit. Nicely done. Nicely done there, Brutal. Woo! Yeah, I loved it. I loved the gutsiness of going Command Center first, throwing that Planetary Fortress down for early defense, and then having the Vikings out just in time to deal with the Banshees. Yes, Brutal went for kind of a weird opening, right? It wasn't just a double medevac drop type thing, an early Reaper opening, which would have been a problem for a Wagendor, but he made it work, and he got a win in a game against a fellow Diamond Terran player. So nice job, the Wagendor. And let's move on to the next game coming up in just a second. Welcome back to One Trick Wednesday. It is Falcon Paladin coming to you with a game between the Wagendor and Kush Rabbit GG on Honor Grounds, the latter edition. In the bottom right side of the map, we have the Red Terran player. It is the Wagendor. We've seen him before. And in the top right side of the map, we have the Blue Zerg player. It is Kush Rabbit GG. With like a barcode or a grate spinning icon here. Like a grate that water goes through on the street. Either way, one of those two things, looks more like a grate to me, I would have to say. Is the Wagendor going to go Command Center first against a Zerg? So this is going to be a higher level TVZ than we saw in the first one with the Terran 1. So we will see how this Zerg player responds to being mass Vikinged. And I'm not entirely sure what the correct response is, other than, I mean, Hydra, right? Hydras are going to do very well, both against the Vikings and in landed position and in flying position, with their range, with their speed, especially on creep and especially in a defensive position. So, all right, the Wagendor, what do we got, man? He's going Command Center first. He's running it again. There's a good luck out of Kush Rabbit. Kush Rabbit tossing down the hatch first play. And indeed, we are going to go for Command Center first out of the Wagendor. This is probably one of the better maps to do that, just because this is entirely safe from ground attack, right? Nothing's getting here unless they can break down your front door and walk through your main and then get to your natural base. Drop Lords could be a concern out of the Zerg player. Like, that's something I've seen before. We just drop a few Lings inside this area, and oh, you thought you were safe. You were SCVing up like a crazy person, but suddenly there are 8 Lings, and you're in a huge amount of trouble. However, I have to assume we don't see that in this game, because if we did, then it would be pretty short, and this did not seem pretty short on the loading screen. Wagendor is tossing down, yep, another Command Center at his front, so he's Planetary Fortressing this thing at his front door and going to base and going to try to see what he can do. Zerg player working on that there spawn and pool. Really should go for a third base at this point. I mean, on Honor Grounds, you just have to assume your opponent is going for an expansion pretty quick, because it's safe. So go for that third base here is not a bad thing to do. I prefer to take my natural here on this on this particular map, just to get my creep spread moving out more quickly, and then taking my third back here. It doesn't really matter either way. So Drone comes in and sees Command Center at the front door and says, is this Terran player honestly okay? And sees the engineering bay. All right, so you have to prepare for Planetary Fortress on some level, Mr. Drone. You absolutely do. Lol, says Cush Rabbit. Yeah, he's smart enough to see what's going on here. Now, is he smart enough to respond appropriately? Because he saw there was no barracks. He doesn't have to worry about anything for quite a while. It is time to expand or go for some crazy 2-base all-in. Those are your choices, Cush Rabbit. Cush Rabbit Command Center upgrading to a planetary fortress. The wagon door is not dissuaded from continuing this attack path just because his opponent laughed at him. Double refinery here from the wagon door. Obviously, gonna need that for sure. Barracks not even done yet. So there's the third hatch. So Cush says, I'm gonna expand my face off. That's what I'm gonna do. My opponent didn't even have a barracks at the 3-minute mark. What I'm gonna do is take a third, probably even take a fourth. That's what I would feel pretty comfortable doing if I'd gotten that perfect of a scout and saw what was going on at my Terran opponent's base. Factory on the way from the wagon door. Metabolic boost. Just now finishing out of Cush. You're not breaking this. Well, a Baneling bus could knock this thing down and sneak around the outside and entirely avoid the planetary fortress. That'd be really bad for the wagon door, but it doesn't seem to be that is what Rabbit is doing. Getting evolution chamber, 32 to 33 harvesters right now, droning up, making 7 drones at one time, getting pneumatized carapace, and waiting on that third. So it doesn't seem to have adjusted his strategy too much. He's made absolutely 0. Okay, he has 8 lings. Just kidding. Why did you make 8 zerglings? Did you make those lings before you saw what was coming? Because, I guess... Okay, so the lings are here to knock down these rocks. So the 4th base can be at a gold, so not a bad idea. Starport. First starports of the day are coming up for the wagon door. Using this planetary fortress to continue to SCV up is fantastic. Getting structure armor just in case a whole ton of roaches and ravagers do show up in the next couple of minutes here, which seems like it is fairly possible. Lair is complete. Nope, lair is not complete. Lair is almost complete. For a second there, my brain saw that that was complete, but that was not the case. Double refinery here at the natural base as well. Ling, it's going to be Ling drop action. It is going to be Ling drop action. Speedy Lord going to upgrade it into a Ventral Sack Drop Lord. And here we go. So this is what we talked about here. Some Drop Lord action. And how do you deal with it is the problem. Going to have to be Landed Viking. I'm afraid it's going to have to be Landed Viking, Mr. the Wagon Door. 8 slots inside that Overlord. Is he going to come back for those other 4 is the question before attacking. So landing in this very, very corner. The wagon door cannot see this. Getting a Roach Warren. And there we go. Lings are here. Oh, run. Run, SCVs. Once again, a great reaction time here. Landing the Vikings. Trying to kill these dudes. And you know what? Doing pretty well at it as well. Viking says, aha, Drop Lord. I see you. If I can clean out these Lings, I'm going to be in a pretty good spot. You know what? Vikings do not do too poorly against Zerglings there. 3 kills on the one and 4 kills on the other one. And yeah, lost a couple SCVs, lost 2, but that was a pretty good hold. Pretty good hold indeed there. So he sees the Vikings. Now, what does that tell? What does that tell you, Cush? Tells you you're getting a Spire. All right, Mutas. Oh, man. Mutas would be really good in this situation, actually. Mutas are super good against Vikings. And not really the vice versa, but supply blocking. Ah, yes. Yes, the supply blocking aspect of the Vikings could be pretty good. Where are most of our overlords? Here between the natural base and the main base, huddled together in fear because there are Vikings out there trying to murder them. Barracks is scouting around, just trying to see what it can see. Just taking a nice little leisurely holiday. Trying to get out and about. Excuse me, man, I'm trying my hardest not to sniffle here. Gotta mute the microphone, that's what I should do. The Lings are finally still trying to knock down these rocks, but I don't know if they're gonna get it. I really don't. So where do the Vikings want to attack is the question. Then this third base is pretty well undefended. There's a single queen there, and that is it. So just walking right on in. Lings in trouble. So many Lings in trouble right now. 10 Corruptors in production from Cush. That's his answer. It's gonna be Corruptor, and I don't know. I just don't know. Vikings outrange them, and they hit them really hard as well. But this third base is a ghost town. Nobody is here. No drones. Most of them ran away, which is good. They didn't get massacred. But losing this third hatch is not something that Cush wants to do. However, I don't know if he can save it Oh, the Corruptors are waiting for these Vikings to lift, and they do! And they do, and they try to run for their lives as they're pretty injured already. Actually, are Corruptors faster? 4.13. 3. They are faster! Oh, never mind. I apologize. I apologize, Kush. That was a great decision to go mass Corruptor here. Tossing down missile turrets so desperately is the Wagon Door. Oh, Caustic Spray being used on this natural base for the Wagon Door. Dude, is he gonna lose this thing? Oh, he loses it. There's so much DPS. Oh, that hurts bad, but the third base is up. Wagon Door's third base is complete now, which is an excellent, excellent sign for the Terran player. Sorry, bit of a coughing fit there. We're back. We are back. So Vikings, again, outrange, right? They do have a range of 9. Corruptors with a range of 6. But the speed thing is a really big deal. +1 attack is done on these Vikings, doing 15 damage versus armored when they're flying, as Corruptors are. So they do really well in that situation. Fourth base up. Well, about 50% up here for Kush. And making another command center here at this third base with Planetary Fortress upgrade upcoming as well. Hive is done for Kush. Vikings taking down an Overlord, really, really trying to supply block his Zerg opponent, but 140 available supply out of 120 for Kush. It's going to be difficult. Going to be difficult to do. Absolutely for certain. So what do we got? We got Lings on the ground. We have 15 Corruptors in the sky. How do you deal with it is the question here. Is it just a straight up battle? Is this what we're going to have to see here? Again, Corruptors were made to attack bigger things, like carriers and battle cruisers and stuff. That's why they have the extra damage versus massive. Vikings are not massive, as it turns out. So maybe, you know what? Maybe you just go in there landed with the Vikings and say, whatever you have on the ground, I can handle it. It's going to be 2 roaches and 24 Lings. And you know what? Considering there are 15 Vikings with +1 attack, I think they might be able to just do this thing. Just land and go. I mean, there are 5 Hydras in production. There's a Greater Spire, too. Greater Spire, I don't know how much of a problem that's going to be for these guys. But holding this on like a watchtower, it's time to move. It is time to move for the Wagon Door. Spore Crawlers, useless in the situation. Corruptors, useless in the situation. Lings, doing all right for themselves. A Roach here, doing some good damage, but dies pretty quickly at the same time. Hydra's coming out getting murdered. The Corruptors are like, I don't know what I'm doing here. More Corruptors in production. 32 Lings in production. I mean, that's pretty much all that Kush can do in this situation. Did he? Whoa, he may have miscalculated here. Again, this is why I like the Mutas, because the Mutas can attack these things, right? They can attack the air, and they can attack the ground. The Corruptors are kind of stuck in this situation. The third base is toast for Kush. Hydras are here. Lings coming out. They're not grouping up, though. They're coming up in groups of 10 at a time and just getting wasted. Yes, a couple of the Vikings are dead, but for the most part, they're doing super well here. 7 Roaches in production. Broodlords in production here as well, and that might be what it takes to save our Zerg player here, is the Broodlords. As the Vikings can take care of them, right? But the Corruptors are the big problem right about now. So many dead drones right now, down to 50 workers. And going after the Greater Spire. Greater Spire died. Look how quickly it dies. +2 attack on these dudes, doing 14 damage per shot here. Broodlords are here. 3 Broodlords tossing down the Broodlings. Vikings, is it time to go? Is it time to go? Trying to kill some of these roaches. I think they're just sacrificing themselves right here. They're killing everything on the ground that they possibly can. Lifting is just an immediate death sentence. And yep, they're pinned into a corner. Broodlings. Let's see if we can see this. No, we can't really. Anyway, they're all dead. They're all dead now. But guess what? Round 2 has arrived. 25 Vikings. You know what? I think he's just going to go for it here in the air this time. Corruptor count is only 15. And pretty good kiting on display here. Yep, your Broodlords are toast. Your Corruptors are toast. Oh, Kush. I don't know about this, man. Corruptors just trying to come on in and do this thing, but they are taking so much damage with every volley from these dudes. 60 damage times 2. Broodlords, too slow to run away effectively. Absolutely toast at this point. Corruptor count is... And there we go. Broodlords are gone. Vikings land. There are Vipers. Okay. Maybe Blinding Cloud. The Hive is going to die here. It's 90 to 49 Harvesters. Expanding again and again and again is a Wagon Door all along this bottom left side. It's 172 to 89 total supply. He got this thing. This was an impressive victory. In production for Kush is nothing. He's got 10 Corruptors, 5 Vipers. I don't get it. It's Kush. And he leaves the game. Yes, confusing people on ladder. That's what this is all about. Oh, that's what it's all about. Okay, coming back for one final game in One Trick Wednesday. Bear with me, and we'll be right back. And for the grand finale of One Trick Wednesday, it is a 3v3 on Fields of Shazir. Oh, this is going to be good. In the left side of the map, we have Team Red, represented by the Red Terran player Crayon with a K. His teammate, the other Red Terran player, Vexed. And finally, last but not least, is the Red Terran player, Skanky Mojo. It's a good name. And in the right side is the enemy. The blue Terran player, the real Astro. Another blue Terran player. We're not going there. And we're going to call him Dat. The other blue Terran player, Mumbo. What? It is a pure Terran 3v3 today. All right. Okay, how long will it take us to figure out which team is going Mass Viking here? What do we think here? Oh, Dat. Put your workers on the minerals, dude. Come on. There you go. Good job there, Mr. Dat. Vexed is tossing down a barracks, which, again, is not really a tell. Ah, double barracks. Oh, wait. That's Crayon and Skanky Mojo walling off there. So never mind. Nobody really double refinery here for Skanky. Same thing for Crayon. And same thing for Vexed. Okay. I'm pretty sure that Team Red is going to be our Viking team, as basically considering they have all gone double refinery, and 2 of our blue Terran players have no gas at all at this point, just now getting that started and expanding early. Although expanding early does not mean you're not going Mass Viking. Does not mean that at all, as Mr. Wagon showed us in the previous couple games. All right. Man, these names these days. Factory's on the way for Skanky Mojo and Crayon. And where's your factory? There's your factory, Vex. This is a team effort, you guys. We all got to be on the same page. Fields of Shazir. Have I cast a game on this map before? I don't know if I have. I don't recognize the name at all. You have these double expansions back behind your main area, which you can take down by killing rocks, which is going to be hard. It's going to be hard for Team Red to do this, as they're going Vikings, and Vikings are terrible against rocks. Regardless, what is Team Blue up to? Team Blue is expanding. Team Blue is macroing this thing pretty well. I mean, team games, in my experience, are pretty cheesy. And so the fact that they're all going fairly early expands just tells me they are not worried about, proxy Reapers or proxy Marine Barracks rushes, things like that. Vax is tossing down an expansion inside his own main base. Are we just going to one base this thing, or are you guys going to go for multiple bases? There's our first starport out of Team Red. Skanky Mojo. Oh, just kidding. Crayon beat in. Crayon, you're on fire, man. Excuse me. Yeah, so I mean, they're getting the gas up as required. Tossing down an armory. Crayon wants upgrades for his Vikings, which seems like a solid life choice. Starport tossing down on the reactor. Again, this is a swap that's been done since the beginning of StarCraft 2 time, but nonetheless is going to be very useful in this particular situation. So now the question is, Team Red, are they afraid of getting rushed? Is the thing here. Marines in production for Mumbo. Again, it worked out well here that Team Blue is playing as defensively as they are, right? I'm going to have to say yes. Yes, that is the truth. Factory tossing down yet another reactor. Expansion for Vexed is just about done, and Starport with reactor complete for Mr. Vexed. Who's going to get our first Viking? There we go. It is Crayon. Crayon winning the race here, man. Winning the Viking race for sure. Making a second starport here as well. And actually, yeah, look at that. Just landing the command center next to these rocks is Crayon. Recognizes he has no chance in shutting them down. So he's going to use this for gas, right? Putting it in a location close enough to the refinery to get the additional gas going. Vext has a nice little safe expansion to expand to. Okay, so there are two of those. One of those? Is there only one of those per side? Yeah, it looks like there is. So everybody has a really nice safe expansion they can take, which they have to decide who gets that one. Probably proximity determines that most of all. Are there any gold expansions on this map is the question. No, but 3's along watchtowers. 1, 2, 3. You see 4, you see 2, you see 1. Don't usually see 3. But Fields of Shazir being the thing. Factory throwing down a starport. Getting itself a reactor, as it should, as it allows you to make 2 Vikings at once. How amazing is that? Remember in the Wings of Liberty campaign where you could get like combination tech lab reactors where you could double pump things like tanks and stuff that needed tech labs but still have their reactor support? Holy smokes, the real Astro has nothing here. He's working on submarines. There's not present yet, so all the SCVs run for their lives. Get them. Get that bonus damage versus mechanical. Chase them down. Marines coming out. Not as good. Not as good. One Marine dies. Another Marine? Nope, not going to be enough. Man, look at how slowly that health goes down on Marines. Marines are going to be a problem. They're going to be a minor bit of a problem here if you happen to be a red Terran player, as these folk are. Group of 4. Group of 4 heading out. The other thing we've learned is you really can't just sit back and allow your opponent to mass up while you mass up Vikings. You got to harass with them. You got to get in there and take out workers, because that's what makes it possible for you to finish things off. And with how quickly you kill them. All right, so 4 Vikings versus like 8 or so Marines. Yep, not good. Not good. Dang, Marines are good. They are good, strong unit in most situations here. Quadruple pumping Vikings is Vex. Skanky Mojo making 0 Vikings. Making 2 Vikings is the Crayon. Viking count is 9 plus 6 plus 8. That is 14 plus 9 is 23 Vikings for Team Red. Will it be enough? I think you guys need to work together. That's what these team games are all about, right? Teamwork, cooperation. I saw the Lego Batman movie the other day. That was super good. It is the best Batman movie, I will say, since Dark Knight. Yep, I'm saying it. Best movie since Dark Knight. I enjoyed it a lot more than Rises. All right, so Vexed has his group of Vikings. Dude, friends, come on. I know, I understand maybe you're playing defense here. I don't know about what. Team Blue hasn't so much as sniffed the other side of the map. They're look at this, expanding again is the real Astro. They're preparing for like a 25-minute macro-style game here, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to be enough here for them to handle when you're dealing with this many Vikings. Heading on down is Vexed, flying around, trying to see what you can do. And the answer is not. I mean, none of these bases are planetary fortresses. They just aren't, is the problem. The Marines are the big deal for Team Red. Big group coming from Crayon and Vex. They are converging on the real Astro's attempt to take like a 3rd base at this point, which unfortunately, wrong place, wrong time. This just happens to be the meeting place for the Vikings. Did you see that, the real Astro? Did you see the mass Viking play here? Because if you did, might have a generally good idea as to what to expect. Vikings landing, some of them. So this base is going to die. Again, buildings take extra damage. Look at that. Gone, dead, landing here at the expansion for the real Astro. And running for their lives are these SCVs. Vikings trying to take down Medivacs. That's going to help them a lot, as it turns out. Yep, get them from distance. Good place to go here. SCVs just getting destroyed. Wow, so many dead SCVs. Base tries to lift and run. Nope, not going to happen. Not against Vikings, my friend. Again, you can kill the Medivacs, but this Marine Marauder group is really dead scary from the real Astro. I mean, standing in, sacrificing some Vikings to try to take out the Medivacs. Got one. Oh, shoot a drop. Oh, shoot a drop from Mumbo. Up here at Vex expansion base. That was supposed to be safe, but guess what? Drops. Drops are always very good. Coming all the way back home. Vikings running for their lives right now. Natural base here for Vex is under direct assault by these Marines. They don't have stim. Right? They don't have stim, but it doesn't even matter. No +1 upgrades either. And picking up and running. Now, what would help Team Red here is if they stayed inside those medevacs. Oh, no. No. Holy crap, nice cutoff. There's nowhere to go. Oh, both medevacs full of Marines destroyed there. Viking count getting high. 20 plus 11 plus 24. That's like 50, 60 something. High 50s. Again, math while casting is not a great idea. Trying to expand again is Mr. Dat. Nope. Not going to happen. Mumbo has some stuff back. He's the one that dropped. He lost all his stuff. Holy crap. Vikings landing. And here we go. Party time. SCV is evaporating like they were never there in the first place. Mumbo is completely bereft of workers at his main base right now. A single Marine comes in, tries to do this, loses the orbital command as well. Marines trickling in 2 and 3 at a time. Not working out super well, guys. Not really working out all of that well. Look at these dudes go. Vikings so good against Terran. So good against Terran. Vikings flying down. Marines from Dat heading up. Passing in the night. Nobody interested and attacking anybody else right there. Some trying to come up this ramp. Marines and Marauders doing pretty well for themselves, but there are just so many Vikings and everybody's dead. Everybody is dead here. Marines and Marauders chasing Skanky Mojo's group. Mumbo has left the game. That is it. The real Astro taps out as well. What is even left here? And that's it. Crayon, Skanky Mojo, and Vexed are victorious. Holy shamoly, made it work in a 3v3. And again, in fairness, the other team did macro a lot, did expand a whole ton. But nevertheless, good stuff indeed. All right, so that ends the first ever One Trick Wednesday from Falcon Paladin. Our next challenge is thus. Zerg, you must go mass burrowed baneling. That's it. Burrowed banelings, you can make spore crawlers and spine crawlers and queens. But otherwise, burrowed banelings. Not above ground banelings. No. You have to win the game with burrowed banelings. All right? All right, that's your challenge. I know it's hard. I know I'm going to hear from you guys and say that that's difficult, but that's what this is. It is weird strategies that are difficult. And you know what? All I heard with the Mass Viking challenge early was it's impossible. It can't be done. It can't be done. It can't be done. And look at this. Look at this. We got several games in a row showing us the way to make this thing happen. And again, it's not going to work every time, but it is a fairly viable thing. Especially, again, what we learned is how good they are against probes and SCVs. And those little early Viking drops can do a lot of damage, especially if you follow it up with a more standard follow-up. So, I don't know, maybe try implementing some of that into your playstyle. But that's going to be it from me today. Thank you so much for joining me again in the first One Trick Wednesday of all time. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. It is daily Legacy of the Void stuff. You can also catch me easily on Twitter and Facebook, both at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.